All right, guys, we are live. Just getting set up here. I'm just gonna let everybody take a minute here, get in, and then we'll get rolling. Guys, if you're on TikTok, you can check us out on YouTube as well at ATA_trader. Game plan is we're gonna go through the SPY. We'll talk about Friday. We'll talk about today. We'll talk about some of what we see. Mostly go through the SPY. If you guys have any special requests on TikTok, put them in. I'll look at them. Otherwise, I'm going to do SPY, Dixie. I'll cover Bitcoin today, talk about that pump. It goes along the lines of what we were talking about a while back. So quite interesting. All right, guys. So let's take a look here real fast. This is the SPY. I'm going to mute a lot of the indicators here. We'll leave these two open. So you can see the SPY on Friday opened up somewhere around here. And so you can see it was just kind of just red all day, right? We had put that guidance out in the room talking about how we were going to be short. We did get our death cross here, so we rode some shorts on the way down. And then, we did have there was a long or a call that got thrown in here somewhere. Some took profit out of it, some got stuck in it. And then what was awesome is a few people actually DCA'd this perfectly off of this pattern here. So I want to talk a little bit about this. This is where most of the money was made in the room. And although we had this beautiful fall here, the one thing we had noticed is we had, kind of, if you take this here, right, we had a little bit of somewhat of a shoulder. To me, this stood out as a possible head. It's kind of a sideways inverse head and shoulder, right? But it also could play out as, like a triple bottom, however you see it, right? But that's how we seen it. And so we actually drew this neckline right here, which was once this peak hit and rejected. And I was looking for this other shoulder to kind of complete, right? And so once we held support here, the key thing that I put out in the room, and those of you in the community, you guys, obviously keep me honest, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to show you all the posts that we did, but what we talked about in the room is that, we had this pattern playing out, and we had the bullish divergence to support it. So if you notice, the moment this flipped green on our divergence hunter, we had enough volume to break that neckline. Then, remember, this is what we talk about when we teach you guys. The volume to break the neckline is important, but where the big trade comes is on the retest. This is where we all caught our push north. It's where those that got stuck up here got out. There were some people I know that were talking about stopping out down here, and we saw the bullish shift coming. So it was really a textbook play out, right? It hit here, we got our bullish confirmation off the neckline. A lot of us entered right here, bam, rode the sucker up. I mean, it was literally, if you look at this was a 2, 4, 6, 8 minutes trade. It was awesome. And then a lot of us got stopped out, through here. But just played out absolutely perfect. I was done for the day after that. I wasn't touching it. I told everybody, that was just our quick in and out trade. The morning session, we do on Fridays in our room, as you guys know, we do mostly just training. We kind of play some games on that and stuff, but we don't do a lot of early trading. But I did sneak a trade on this one here, and then we just kind of continued on, right? Obviously, you had your bull flag that we had called also in the room, but I told everybody to stay out of it. It played out perfectly, and it was a fake out. A lot of people made a ton of money on iron condors here with the pump up and the drop, as it lost the 200. So that's kind of where we played. You can see in the after hours we did play this trend line held for the after hours, which caused another pump, pushing us up to that 430 range before breaking back down into our death cross again. So currently we are below the 200. We are red on the divergence hunter. We did get a little bit of bullish divergence right here. Arguable that it played out. I'm not sure if that quite played out enough, so we may see a little bit more of an upside. The pre-market seems to be dumping, right? As you guys see right here, as we get closer to the pre-market, I mean, we're down about $1 from where we were like an hour ago. So We want to look at, where's the possible support. So we know that we have some heavy support in here, right? So 425.95 is going to act as pretty good support somewhere in here. It's going to be a really good key level too, because if we break below this and this becomes resistance where it was heavy support, then, look out below, right? We do have, more bullish divergence popping up than bearish, right? Whereas back here, right, we started to see a lot more bearish divergence popping up, and that's how that plays out. So it doesn't mean that we're going to the moon right away, right? But it does mean that there's some bullish sentiment in the market coming, and so you should be very careful with your puts. So even from here all the way over to here, right, we still have that divergence, and so it's definitely still there. So you want to be really careful taking the puts. I'm not saying don't take puts. I'll still take puts. I'm just going to wait for the pumps before I take the puts. I'm not going to chase the pullbacks. If the market opens, I can tell everybody this: wait 15 minutes, don't trade. If the market opens and it drops considerably, wait to see if it finds some support here, and just wait for your call setup. Don't chase that put. So just zooming out here. Again, let's go to the 1 hour, double check that. Yeah, so you can see on the 1 hour, our 200 is way up here around 433.98. I'm expecting if we pump up to get a pretty nasty rejection off of that. It's likely that this might actually end up down here by the time it pumps up, depending how quickly we get up there. If it does, right, now we have a resistance line of 433 plus the 200. So it's going to be a pretty amazing put setup. You can see here, looking at this here actually on the 1 hour, you can see this was the inverse head and shoulder that we played a while back. We had the neckline test and the pump. Then it had just a reclaim. Now we're just kind of looking at like a higher low, right? See if we can hold these higher lows here. And this is why this level is going to be pretty critical to me, because if we hit this and start acting as resistance, then we're coming down into that 424, 423 range again. To retest this lower area. So this is kind of the range that I'm going to play. The rules I'm going to stick with is anything up in this 433 range, I'm going to be looking for a put unless we get some volume or some news to push us above it. Now, if these candles go above this, whew, man, I would not take puts. Just be really careful. If we break above it and we retest, obviously, as support, be really careful on your puts. But if we do start to reject off this, we get a double top, any kind of bearish sentiment, bearish divergence, stuff like that, is going to just crash right back down. So you can see here we do have a head and shoulder forming, and that could be something too you could watch, right? So we could take a little neckline like so. We may come down and pump right off of this neckline. If we break this neckline, it's going to come down with some steam, and so that'll definitely be something to watch. Let's look at the Harmonic Tracker Pro picked up the long. I think the short's back there, right there. So currently it's still in a long, right? Even with us bleeding. Remember, these could be healthy pullbacks, right? As long as we hold a higher low than this, it could still be that potential reversal coming through, right? With this this inverse head and shoulder. So no short call yet on that. The 21 is sitting right about here, guys. It's 428.58. So likely, if we get a market push, right, that's going to be some pretty good first level rejections. Something to watch. So, but that's about what I see on the SPY. Let's look at the gap fill. Yeah, it's pretty heavy volume within this area here. So our PSC on this indicator is sitting around 428. We've been a little heavy bearish, but not quite gap fill territory yet. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Let me know, guys, if you want me to check out any stocks. Otherwise, I'm going to jump straight to the Dixie. Well, let's look at the Dixie and the VIX. Let's see. My Bollinger does not like that one. Oh, the Dixie doesn't like the Bollinger. That's why. Let me pull that off. All right, so we do have the Dixie pushing up right off of the 200 from the 1 hour. I mean, we're going to at least get a retest of here, this prior high, so I would mark this as a resistance. Now, keep in mind, because if you were to take this trend line down like this, you can see we actually had broken that, and that's where you're getting this steam. Look for something similar to like this, right? For it to come up, hit this, you know, double top. If that happens, if you zoom out, right, obviously we're going to be forming a potential double top here, which would be, the neckline would be right around this trend line, right, which would cause a pretty hefty fall if it does. That would be what would push the markets up. Now, the flip side of that is, be really careful, is if you see it continue to hold steam because of this break, and it pushes, let's say, off of here, comes down and starts to hold support like this on the upper side of this, right? Then you're going to see it push above it and then look for this support. If this support holds, it's going to just pretty much shoot right to there. So GSAT, I have not charted that one, but I'll be happy to take a look at it. So that's going to be what we want to watch for the Dixie, right? Obviously, if the Dixie's going up, market's going down, Dixie's going down, market's going up. I mean, guys, look at this tear that the Dixie's been on. I mean, at some point, this gap is going to fill, and so we will get a further relief bounce. But there may be more downside in the markets until we do. So let's take a look at that one, and then I'll do the Bitcoin. So I usually change this. This is my one I change. So keep in mind, I forget to tell people when I do these chartings. In our room, we scalp. We're in, we're out, we trade options. If you're doing, some actual investing type strategies or longer term holds, let me know, just because it may change, right, on what I tell you. So first thing I'm going to do is, man, what a candle right here, jeez. We're not going to use that one. So as all of you guys know, I like to box it in, right? You could take this wick. I don't like how quick that wick went up, so I'm going to pull this lower wick right here instead. There's obviously some pretty clear support right there. So you can see when we box it in, right, we have some pretty heavy support in here. You can arguably pull this up just a smidgen, but then that puts that below it. So to me, I would hold it somewhere in here, right? It looks actually pretty interesting because you have your bullish divergence, right, which is playing out right now. This is an obvious double bottom that is trying to form. So here's my plan if I'm trading this one. If you look here, we have heavy resistance in this zone here. I'm gonna mark. For me, honestly, what I would be really looking for is I always use yellow on my horizontals. It's my OCD. What I'm looking for is, can it retest this, right? So you don't want to chase this candle on a long or a call or a buying. This GSAT, I'm not trading it. Somebody just asked me to do the TA on it. We trade the SPY. But what I would say is, man, if you get a pullback like this is what I'd want to see, something like this. And then a show of support, maybe a little inverse head and shoulder, and then bam, that thing will just take off, right? That's what I would watch if I'm trading this sucker. Now, as far as if you're just like investing and such, right? Yeah, you could get it here, but I mean, ideally, you can see even here where it had its pushbacks, right? It came back down to this line. So at some point, it's going to come back down to this line likely, unless this double bottom plays out. If this double bottom plays out, man, it could really take off. So let me look at what the indicators show, and then I'll flip to something else. So let's see. So actually, look at this. You're above the 200 now. So you could potentially hold support up here. If you hold support up here and you get a higher high, man, that's going to go. Yeah, because you're definitely above the 200. Gut fills showing fine. Harmonics. Look at our indicator. Short. Long. Played it out perfectly. Our indicator nailed it. This is a great call too, because you got the divergence with it, like we teach in the room. We always want to have that divergence. So hope that helps. TTOO. I don't know that one either. Let me know if I'm doing the wrong one, but this is what I got here. Looks like we got the long, we got the short, and it's currently in a long. The only thing I would say, let's see, you have the same thing here. You got This one's kind of even lows here with lower lows, so it's kind of that hidden bullish divergence. Not quite as strong, but it's there. The first thing that sticks out to me, these type of patterns, right? I always instantly see a head on a head and shoulder or inverse head and shoulder. Yeah, I can, Rebel. I can in a minute. Give me one sec. So we have the shoulder here. The short answer to that is short means that we're going down. Long means the market's going up. Is what we're doing. If you check out botjok.com, botjok.com, we have inside there a whole lot of free material in there that will help teach you if you have no idea what I'm talking about right now. So you have your shoulder here, you got your head, right? This could be kind of like that scoliotic shoulder that CK and I talk about. You do have a little mini double top, right? So what I'd be curious about on this one is if it does something like this one, and then let's say you have your little double top, come through, break out, create this other shoulder, maybe create like an inverse head and shoulder, come up, retest this neckline, and then have a push past this 200, right? Because if you think about it, your neckline is going to be something like this. And so now your push pushed you above the 200 and pushed you above this neckline. If this plays out like that, man, it's going to recover really strong. You'll be good. However, if this double top can push it down below, right, and it continues to lose, I would say below the shoulder, and it holds as resistance, right, then look for a retest down there. So that's the two ways I play that. Yeah, losing a little steam on the RSI, but nothing crazy concerning that I see. Good deal. Let's see. So let's look at the VIX, guys. Let's look at the VIX. So VIX is climbing, which is likely where the market's dumping. Keep in mind, it's interesting actually, because so we have some heavy resistance here. We're getting really close to that. A lot of you guys know who've been following me for a long time. We tend to have a market pullback and then the market will open and we'll kind of dump a little bit, and then it'll stop, and then it just reverse like freaking crazy, right? So you want to look and see if something like that supports it. So what would that mean? Okay, a little bit of a push up, and then look, resistance, bam, reverses like crazy. So it's very very possible. The VIX is lining up with that same type of situation. So we are sitting near prior resistance. We do have some room to go though. Let's draw a line on the VIX just to see how that would line up. About there. Yeah, so that'd be somewhere in here. Interesting thing, we had the bearish divergence we were calling for a while, and that's what played out perfectly, but then it got the retest on the 200. So as long as the VIX stays above the 200, I'm anticipating this trend line and this 200 on the 1 hour is likely what's going to just keep it into a squeeze. Some people do. A lot of us don't trade crypto as much anymore because of the SEC going after Binance and Coinbase. They made all the little exchanges like BitGet and those ones that we do not tradable for the USA. Yeah, like John said. But if you're outside the US, then yeah, we still have the technology for it for sure. We use BitGet if you're outside the US. If you're in the US, you might want to shift to options. It's a better play to make. I don't know. John, you could probably argue. I mean, aside from maybe how the Goliath stuff worked, but as far as live trading goes, I mean, I make more money on options than I did in crypto. So, but that's what I got. Let's talk about Bitcoin, guys. We got about 10 minutes. I left my chart up here, guys, so you guys can look at my past videos. This is what we've been marking, was this trend line here. So keep in mind, guys, this trend line was from almost 32K, 31.8, and the last time it hit it and rejected, it went sideways and just absolutely tanked, right? This time it couldn't even make it, tanked, wasn't ready. Then we had some kind of steam to the trend, right? Still couldn't make it, boom, tanked. I mean, look at this, 27 all the way down to 26, 25, a little over about $1,500 probably or so it dropped. So then we created this line here. And this is what we were watching, was this squeeze. Remember we talked about this? This was like a, yeah, definitely, John. Especially depositing your money, right? So we talked about this squeeze, and the most important thing that when we watched about this squeeze is we had to stay above this 200. So you can see we finally broke above the 200, right? Ended up kind of having its little higher lows, situation here, pumped above. We held support. This support right here is what shot it above this trend line. Now keep in mind, guys, it has not gone above that trend line in July 13th. So it's been some time, right? And so of course, everybody in crypto is super excited about that, because now they're like, okay, something's going on. Let's, time to buy. Bull market's back on. Woohoo. And so, as it began to hold support on this trend line, and you can tell this trend line is very viable because look, it hit it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times that it held support. We did not get a close below that trend line, just a few wicks, right? So now it flips back above the 21, holds support on the 21, holds support on the 21. This is why we trade using these EMAs and SMAs. Hold support on the 21. The moment it held it again, right, this was now the resistance level. Broke the resistance level. So when we break that resistance level, right, this level in here, as we always talk about, we're going to do what? We're going to eventually reclaim this side right here, which we pretty much have done. It could definitely go up a little bit higher. I would be really cautious somewhere around 28.8 or so. That's going to be the next pivot level, because if you look here, this was a heavy area of support, and we haven't even touched it yet. So I would suspect if some news comes out to push this above here, then we're back to bullish, right? If you caught this long, awesome, you killed it, right? But if you did not catch this long, I would not chase this sucker, because a pullback is going to happen. If you're looking for a long entry, you're a perma bull, I would at least want it to retest this 21 like it did back here. And if it retested as support, you get your bullish confirmation, take it. Just be careful, because you guys in the room know between the 21 and the 200 is it's an important spread, because if let's say you take it up here and it falls, it's likely going to gain support on this 200 and you'll be okay. If you take it up here and it falls, I mean, it's a long way down before you get to that 200. So you could end up super deep, right, in your trade. And so you want to be really, really careful with that. So I would not chase this. For me, I'm either looking for a short somewhere around 28.8 to get a nice little scalp, or I'm looking for a pullback somewhere around 27.9. If you miss this pump and you're looking to invest, you want to buy crypto, I mean, I'll be careful, because the economy's not that great, but it's not really the place to buy it. I mean, down here was the place to buy it if you're looking for, quick flips. So just be careful. Yeah, like the more these spread, the more dangerous it gets, right? Because let me see if I can find examples. Yeah, so you can see how even in this drop, right, look how you have the gap here. If you were to take a short anywhere in here trying to chase it, right, now you found support, and then it always comes up and retests this. We use Tasty Trade. So part of what we do is, I'll show you guys briefly, is we do automation in our room. So we create our own indicators that you guys can have, where you add your trade volume, your contract days, trading zone, all your stuff, strike price, all in there. So part of what we do in our room, as you guys see here, we have our own indicators. We have we create our own indicators, and we do automated trading, as well as buy sell signals. So, and yeah, Tasty Trade is awesome. It's like the fees are $1 per contract, and I think it doesn't exceed $10 or something crazy. Their fees are pretty nuts. But you see this pullback we're getting here. I want to look at, where did we have our call, John? Let's see. It was not that one. 425.4. I'm gonna hold that there. I'm gonna leave it. We're not quite there yet. Yeah, I'm gonna hold that one there. I think we might be okay. I'm hoping that we get this continued push down a little bit. We'll flip into that call and then ride that sucker back up. So, but good deals, guys. It's 9:10, so we got about 5 minutes. I'll open up that the room if you guys want to trade with us. You want to come in, check us out, botjock.com. It looks like this. Everybody asks. Oh, awesome, Tara. Hopefully, if you're watching. So, Johan, I'll answer that. It's because you're it's because you're logging it into our account. That's why you're logging it into the BotJock servers. But we create our own Discord. This is our Discord. So we give out our guidance and such like that. A lot of stuff. So if you want to check it out, just go to botjock.com. It's right there. Looks just like that. All right, I'm gonna end the community stuff. I think we covered everything we need today.